Hello and welcome to part 8 of our goals seminar. Today we're going to be talking about persistence. This is the second to last module in our goals series, and we want to talk about persistence and how you must persist through trials, how you have to become a champion of going through setbacks. And what we want to kind of look at today is everything that we've talked to up until this point. Successful people that reach and attain goals, they do all the things that we talked about as far as vision and strategy and beliefs and doing all that, but they also have to rebound from setbacks. You also have to, while you're going through your program, through your journey, you have to go through setbacks. On the average, typically, people will have up to 14 slip-ups or setbacks through a course of about a 2-year period after they have reached their goals. So, I guess the saying goes, life happens, stuff happens, and it's impossible to avoid setbacks. The key is knowing and having that innate ability to recover from setbacks, to keep picking yourself back up and going forward. And there's some specific strategies on how we can do that. One of the things we do want to look at, though, is it's important to identify that it's really a choice that people make. It's the same choice that people make when they decide that they're going to be ready or not ready. Persistence is a choice that people make. And the same thing that fuels people to be persistent and to get through their setbacks, the opposite can be true for people too. When setbacks happen, that can be a trigger for people to quit. It can be enough for people to say, I'm done, I can't, and all these negative things such as failure and stuff will get into people's minds instead of really pushing through. And so it's very important for us to know that there's a very fine line between, what side are you going to choose? This side that you're going to persist through and keep going through the setbacks, or are you going to go to this side where you're going to accept failure? And that's where really we get into talking about, and it's a big thing that in the fitness community, talking about lifestyle changes, how it's important to change someone's lifestyle. And it is very true, because that's really, changing someone's lifestyle is really the only means for long-term success. So some important bullet points that we want to look at as far as, what are some key ways that we can persist? Because persistence, a lot of it has to do with motivation. If you are motivated, you will have a greater drive to persist through things. If you're not very motivated, if you don't really care, if it's not really that important to you, your likelihood of persisting through things aren't going to be very high. So motivation is a key thing. And so that's why I'm a big believer in rewarding success. Rewarding success, it doesn't necessarily, it can be a number of things. It can be buying yourself something, giving yourself a certain meal, whatever it may be. But I come from the school of thought that food is there to be enjoyed. Now, there's a huge difference. Like, there's a difference between someone who has a beer and a glass of wine and someone who's a drunk. There's a huge, huge difference. Same thing with food. There's a difference between someone who enjoys their food when they consume it and someone who just indulges in food. And so there has to be strategies put forward, or I call them cheat meals, where you're trying to attain a goal. You're really strict in your diet, and then you reward yourself by having, a meal that you're going to really enjoy, that is, moderate, and something that is going to kind of reward you for your success. Now, sometimes that meal can be a triggering thing with people, and they may have to choose something else. But rewarding success can be a very powerful tool. Probably the most important thing with persistence is having a network of supportive people. Because think about that for a second. How easy is it to persist through things on your own? It's tough. I would say that it's near impossible, if not impossible. You need someone in your corner, at least one person, at least one thing that's going to help you persist through things. So having a network of support people is very important. And I would say that network of people, they have to be excellent. They have to have that same excellence mindset that you have. They also have to have the same mindset as far as being mutually committed. It's really, really hard to have a network of people that don't have the same mindset as you, or are not as committed equally to your goal as you are. So having like-minded people as a network, whether that's a coach, whether that's people in the gym, whether it's friends and family who all share that same mindset, the same support for what you're looking to do, and be willing to help you persist through things is going to be very important. Because through that network of people, you can then publicly commit to your goals. And whenever you can publicly state something that you're going to do something, that makes you accountable to a large network of people. And when you're accountable to a large network of people, and you have a support group in place that's going to help build you up and help get you through those difficult times, or help encourage you at all times, your chances of succeeding are greatly improved. And it's also important to know, as we talked about in the very beginning, is setbacks will happen. No one's immune to them. I don't know a single person that hasn't had a setback in their life. So you must prepare for them. You have to prepare for your setbacks. I encourage people to try to journal their setbacks when they go through difficult times, when they face adversity, to write it down, to write the steps that are happening to them, so they know what is going on. And then, if you know what your struggles are or what your setbacks are, and if you can look at a pattern, then you will know how to deal with that more appropriately. And then secondly, another really important thing to do is to have an accountability partner, whether it is that public group, whether it is a private individual, whether it's a trainer, to have that accountability partner, so as you're going through setbacks, you don't wait till you're in the middle of the setback. As you're going through it, you call somebody up and say, hey, this is what I'm going through. This is what I've identified as the problem. Let's talk about this. Help me through this. Encourage me. Help me through it. Because I'm telling you that, if you wait till you're in the middle of it, or if you don't even identify where the setbacks are at all, you're going to go through this constant pattern that's going to keep haunting you. But if you identify where your setbacks are, you have a support group and an accountability partner that are going to all help support you through it, your chances of succeeding are greatly, greatly much higher. And another thing that's very important to do is to write yourself up some reminder cards, some truths that you believe that are true. Certain truths that you can write out is that this setback does not mean that I'm a failure. This is a singular instance. This does not define who I am. Whatever you feel like you need to tell yourself. But the point of these reminder cards is to tell yourself that because you have a setback, it doesn't mean that you're failing. It's important for you to keep reminding yourself that you were not created to fail. You're created to succeed, and that going through trials is just a part of life, and that going through those trials can actually strengthen you and make you a much stronger person. But going through it alone does not work. Having a support group, having a system in place to help you prepare for your setbacks, and having accountability partners such as a coach or somebody else, and then making sure that you understand that setbacks are a singular event. It doesn't define who you are. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. And if you can keep your focus on that, then your ability to persist through things is quite a bit higher, because we know that if the vision is there, if the strategy is there, and you believe right, then you're going to get right in the face of it. You're going to get right in the meat grinder. And if you can push through, because everyone gets to that point where they make the decision, do I go left and I push through, or do I go right and quit? Or I should say, a lot of times if you just go through it and you have people there to support you, that's where real change happens. And that's the point that we want to get to. So make sure you don't do it alone. Make sure you have accountability partners and people there that are like-minded, and make sure that you understand that you're not a failure. That setbacks are normal, they happen, they're singular, and that you can get through it. I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow for our final part of our goals seminar. Have a great day.
When you feel that something's wrong, I'll shelter you and keep you warm.